This conference will now be recorded.
So today let us start off with one more new topic and very simple one, IO package. What is this IO is? IO stands for input output. The main use of this package is like whatever the programs we have written up to now, the data what we use during runtime, it is temporary data because it is stored in RAM memory and RAM is temporary. So where we can store data permanently? In hard disk, either in the form of data files or database tables. This IO package is mainly to manage the data files. So you can say IO package is used for the following: creating new data files, writing data onto the data files, opening existing files, opening existing data files, reading data from the data files, and finally closing the files. What is the main use of this IO package? It's mainly used for creating data files on your hard disk so that we can store data permanently. We can write data into the file, we can open existing file, we can read data from the file, and finally we do the closing operation. Right? Now here we are having one small definition called as stream. The meaning of stream is like flow of data is called as stream. Flow of data is called as stream. Like the data can be flow from keyboard to memory. Memory means RAM. Memory to hard disk to memory, memory to screen, like this. This flow of data only we call stream. In case of Java, we are having two types of streams. In Java, we are having two types of streams. They are byte streams and character streams. In Java, we are having two types of streams, byte streams and character streams. Means we can make the data flow only in two formats, either in the form of byte or character only. Let us understand this more using a diagram, IO hierarchy. Let us understand using a diagram. So here I've already drawn the diagram here. So we are having two types of streams. One is byte stream and one more is character stream. Under byte stream, we are having two topmost abstract classes, input stream and output stream. These are abstract classes. Under character stream, two topmost abstract classes are reader and writer. Then under input stream, we are having subclasses like file input stream, buffered input stream, data input stream, object input stream. Then under output stream, file output stream, buffered output stream, data output stream, and object output stream. Under reader, file reader, buffer reader, under writer, file writer, buffer writer. So these are the subclasses here. And all these classes belongs to the package java.io package. So whenever we want to use these classes, we need to import IO package. Now let us understand the purpose of these classes. Just understanding the purpose of these classes completes this IO package. Let us initially go with file output stream class. The use of file output stream class is, it is used to create a data file on your hard disk and we can write data onto the file. What is the use of this? It is used to create a data file on your hard disk and we can even write data onto the file. Buffered output stream class is used to increase the performance of write operations. What is the use of buffered output stream? It is used to increase the performance of what? Write operations. So let us understand these two classes using the program now. Open Eclipse. So to store IO related programs, let us create a new package, IO programs. I click on package and say new class file output stream demo. Whenever we want to use the classes of IO package, we need to import java.io package. Now, in this IO package, most of the methods throws IO exception, a checked exception. So we can add here throws IO exception. Now, whenever we want to create a new file on your hard disk, we have to use the class file output stream. Just to create object of file output stream class. And to the constructor, you pass the name of the file which you want to create. What we have to do, just to create object of your file output stream class, to the constructor, you pass the name of the file which you want to create on your hard disk. So when this line of code is executed, it's going to create a file, file1.txt on your hard disk. In which location? In my project location. So wherever you have created this my project, in that my project, this file will be created by default if you are not giving any path. Let us suppose if I go with a path here. Let us suppose if you go with a path, see here I'm repeating, when we use this file output stream, just if you create object of file output stream class, it's going to create a file file1.txt where on your hard disk, in which location? In my project folder. If I want to create in some other location, like example C:\xxx folder, then this file1.txt will be created in xxx folder of C drive. But this folder should be existing. If this folder is existing, then only the file1.txt will be created. Else it is going to throw the exception file not found exception. Okay. So in this program, let us not go with the path. In the next programs, I'll be going with the example of path also. Now, when this line of code is executed, it's going to create a file file1.txt on your hard disk in my project folder. Now let us write some content onto this file. String is equal to Java is our programming language. Java is what? Our programming language. This content we want to write on file. Why we should write on file? Permanent data. To store permanent data, we make use of this IO package concept. So how to write? Simple. By using file output stream class object, use the method write and see write method is taking byte array as an argument. But you are having string in hand. Argument is of type byte array, but the argument is of what type? String. So we are getting error. How to convert string into byte array? By using a method getBytes. So this getBytes method returns byte array, converts string into byte array. That's it. The content will be written onto the file. Go with the message file created. Then fos.close, the closing operations. Run the program. We get simple message file created. And if you open your folder, so we are working in Java programs. In this, we have created my project. In my project, you can see file 1. If you open this file 1, you can see the contents here. So whenever you want to create some files on your hard disk, and we can write some data onto the file so that the data can be permanent. So to do this process only, we make use of this IO package. Clear everyone? Any questions? Right? Now to increase the performance of these write operations, we can make use of a class buffered output stream. Just to create object of buffered output stream class, and to the constructor you connect to FOS. Now this BOS is connected to FOS. FOS in turn is connected to file1.txt. Now wherever we are writing data, you do with BYS. Performance wise, this code is more faster than previous program. Just to increase the performance of write operation, we make use of buffered output string class here. Same output, no change in the code, no change in the result here. Next one, file input stream class. The use of file input stream class is, it is used to open existing file and read data from the file. What is the use? To open existing file and read data from the file. And buffered input stream is used to increase the performance of read operations. It is for what purpose? To increase performance of read operations. Let us understand with the code. Right click on IO programs package and say new class file input stream demo. Import IO package. Since most of the methods in this IO package throws IO exception, you can add here throws declaration. So whenever we want to open the file, create object of file input string, create object of file input string. To the constructor, you pass the name of the file which we want to open. To read the content from this file, we have to use the method read method. And see, read method is taking byte array as an argument. The content of file1.txt, we want to store it into byte array. Let us take some byte array like buffer. Whenever we are using a variable, whenever we use variable, we have to allocate memory for variable. Say here, byte array buffer equal to new byte array. When we go with arrays, we have to mention the size. How to get the size here? How to get the size of the file? By using a method fis.available. So this method returns the size of the file. So this size, you keep it as size over here. That's it. So what you are doing? We are taking the size of the file first, then we are creating some byte array like buffer, any variable, and we are creating byte array of size of the file. Now when you say fis.read buffer, the content of this file will come and store into this byte array buffer. Since we cannot print arrays in system.out.println, we have to convert into string. How to convert into string? String is equal to new string. To the constructor you pass byte array. So this constructor converts byte array into string. Converts byte array into string just to print the value of s. Then do the closing operation. Now see, when we run, the content of file1.txt is now displayed on our console. Got it, everyone? How to write and how to read? That's it. If you just know this process, that's enough for us. Right? File output stream is for writing, creating file and writing. File input stream is for opening and reading. Now, to increase performance of read operation, we make use of the class buffered input stream. Just to create object of buffered input stream, to the constructor you pass your FIS. Now wherever we use FIS, replace with BIS so that the performance can be increased. Now when we run, same output, no change in the output here. Now the next one, data output stream class. The use of data output stream class is, it is used to write different data types onto the file, like integers, floats, doubles, strings, like that. So when you want to manage different data types, we go for data output stream, and it's for write operation. Data input stream. The use of data input stream class is, it is used to open existing file. It is for what purpose? to open existing file and we can read data from the file. Sorry, it is not to open existing file. Only file input stream can open. It is used to read different data types. Data output stream is for doing different data types write operation. Data input stream is for doing different data type read operation. Let us understand with the code. Right click on package and say new class data output stream. Import the package. Add throws declaration. Now let us create the file first. If I want to write some data onto the file, we have to create the file first. Create the file output stream fys equal to new file output stream. Let us create the file file2.txt. Onto this file2.txt, we want to write different data. Then we have to use the class data output stream dys equal to new data output stream into the constructor you pass fys. Now in this data output stream class, we are having different methods for writing different data types like this dys dot write int. This is for integer data type. So which writes 10 onto the file. Dys dot write utf. This is for string. This is for what type? String type. UTF means unified text format. Dys dot write double. This is for double type. Like that we are having write short, write long, like that. Then go with the message. I'll create it. Then do the closing operations. When we run, we get simple message file created. Now understand carefully. When you are writing data onto the file using data output stream, then to read data from the file, we have to use data input stream only. When you write data with the data output, we have to read with the data input. Let's do that process now. Data input stream. First of all, open the file. How to open file? File input stream fis equal to new file input stream. Connect to file 2 dot file2.txt. File input stream fis equal to new file input stream. Connect to the file. Now, so since we have written data onto the file using data output, then we have to read with data input only. Data input stream dis equal to new data input stream. Connect to FIS. Connect to what here? FIS. Right? Right? Then, now see what we have written here. Initially we have written integer 10. So let us read that value. So how to read? int n equal to dis dot read int. Write int, read int. Now if you print the value of n, the value of n will be what here? 10. The value of n, what it prints? 10. Now the second one, we have written hello. String value hello. Then let us read the value hello now. String is equal to dis dot read utf. Now if you print the value of s, it is hello. third one double a value 3.14. Let us read that value. Double d equal to ds dot read double, and if you print the value of d, it is 3.14. Then say ds dot close, fis dot close. So see, when we run, we get the output here. Okay. So when you are writing data using data output stream, then we are read data using data input stream only, right? Now, let us move to the next one, character streams. Under character stream, we are having file writer. The use of file writer is similar to file output stream. The use of this class is it is used to create a file and write data onto the file, and buffer writer to increase the performance of write operations. Let us understand with the code. Right click on package and say new class file writer demo. Import java.io package, add here throws, now create object of file writer, fw equal to new file writer, connect to the file. Let me say file3.txt. Now onto this file we want to write some content. Let us go with some content like string is equal to Hibernate is an ORM framework. This content we want to write onto the file. This content what we want to do, we want to write it onto the file. Then just what you have to do, just say fw dot write, and see write method even taking string as an argument. So directly we can write string. That's the advantage. In the case of byte stream, we have to convert into byte array and write. But here in the case of character stream, we can directly use strings here. That's advantage over here. Then say I'll create it. Then fw dot close. To increase the performance, we can make use of buffer writer, bw equal to new buffer writer, connect to fw. Then wherever we are using fw, replace with bw so that performance can be increased. So when we run, we get simple message file created. And if you open your folder, you can see file 3. If you open this file, you can find the content here, similar to file output stream class. Right? Any questions up to here, anyone? No. Let us move to the next one, file reader. The use of file reader class is it is used to open existing file and read data from the file buffer reader to increase performance of read operations. Let us go with the example code. File reader demo. Understand carefully, a somewhat different task here now. So here in this program, what we want to do is when you run this program, the output of the program should be your source code only. So whatever the program we are writing here, the same source code should get displayed onto the console. That is the task here. Let us do this one. Import the java.io package. Close IO exception. Now open the file. File reader for equal to new file reader. And which file you want to open now? So since when we run, the same source code only should get displayed onto the console, then you open the same file only. File reader demo.java. You're opening the same file. File reader demo.java. When you are not giving any path, it is going to search for this file in my project folder And if you observe my project folder, we are not having any file called as filereader demo.java. Then where it is located in SRC, in IO programs, you can see the file here, filereader demo.java. So if the file is not present in my project folder, if it is present in other folder, we have to mention the path here. So copy this path, come back to the program and paste the path here. Right? We have to mention the path where the file is located if the file is not present in my project folder. Now from this file, we want to read character by character. From this file, what we want to do, we want to read character by character. So for that, we have to take one integer variable, then say while n equal to fr.read not equal to -1. -1 indicates end of file. -1 indicates what? End of file. So until you reach end of file, it is going to pull out one character from your file, and that value will be stored into this integer variable n. Now print the value of n. System.out.print the value of n. Now fr.close. Let us run the program and see the result here. When you run the program, we are getting some integer values here. So what are these integer values? Let us understand. What is the first character in the source code file? P. So let us take one character c equal to p. So let us know what is the integer value for this character p. So how to know? Just if you do the typecasting, convert into integer and say c. Now see the result. We are just applying typecasting. See the result here 112. So 112, 112 matching, right? So what it is printing for this integer value for character p? 112, which we call Unicode of character p. Is what? Unicode of character p. So what are ASCII code? Similar to ASCII codes. So what are the values it is displaying here? They are all Unicodes. So we don't want to display Unicodes. We want to display the characters of your Unicode. Then while printing here integer, convert into character and print it. Just apply the typecasting here. Now see when we run. So when we run the program, we are getting the same source code onto your console. Clear everyone? Any questions? Right? No. So whatever I've explained up to now, I've documented already. So you can find in the document. So the topmost two abstract classes under byte stream, character stream, subclasses under input stream, what is the purpose, the programs, what you should refer, everything I've already documented here. Okay. There. Now let us go with the major topic of today's class. Very, very important one during intro times. That is serialization. This is serialization. Now, up to now we are writing some strings or integers or doubles onto the data file. Now the objective is we want to write a complete object, a user-defined object onto the data file, like student object, book class object, or employee class object, like that. We want to write a object onto the data file. That process of writing objects onto the data file, that process only we call serialization. You can see the process of writing objects onto the data file is called as serialization. The process of reading objects from the data file, is called as deserialization, but complete concept name we call serialization. Object output stream class is used to write an object onto the data file using write object method. Using which method? Write object method. Okay. Object input stream class is used to read an object from the data file using read object method. Using what? Read object method. Okay. Very, very important statement. In order to serialize an object of a class, the class should implement serializable interface. That class should implement which interface? Serializable interface. Else it will throw not serializable exception. Else it's going to throw what exception? Not serializable exception. Right? Now, let us understand this with the example code. And you can see in the diagram that classes here. These are the classes which we are discussing. Object output stream and object input stream. Now let us go with the code. Right click on package and say new class serialization dummy with main method. Import IO package. Add here throws declaration. Let us create a class. We are creating a class book with the data members, book number, name, and price. Now create a constructor to set the values. How to create a constructor? Simply you can right click here, go to source. Shortcut way to do this process. Right click on your program, go to source, and you can see the option generate constructor. Generate constructor using field. Then say generate. That's it. Your constructor is ready now. Go with a default constructor. When a class contains parameterized constructor, it is always suggested to create default constructor. The class is ready now. Coming to main method, let us initially go with serialization. What is serialization? Writing object onto the file. Now, whenever you want to write object onto the file, first of all, we have to create the file. How to create file? File output string, FOS equal to new file output string, and connect here to file, let me say book.txt. I'm going with the file name book.txt. Now onto this file book.txt, we want to write an object of a class. Then we have to use the class object output string OS equal to new object output string and connect to FOS. Connect to what here? FOS. Now, so onto this file we want to write object. So create the object of your class now. Book B equal to new book. So the constructor pass your book number, book name, and price. We are passing the data here. So book number, book name, and price. Now this object data we want to write onto the data file now. So for that, just to use here OOS dot write object and pass your object name. That's it. Very simple. Just use object output stream class object with dot write object and pass your object. Then that's it. Complete object data will be written onto the file. So this process only we call serialization. Then do the closing operation. Now next step, deserialization. You can do deserialization in some other program or same program. Let us do it in the same program. Deserialization. What is deserialization? Reading object from the file. So for that, open the file first. File input stream. FIS equal to new file input stream. Connect to book.txt. Since we want to read object, go with object input stream. OIS equal to new object input stream and connect to FIS. Now to read object, just here book v1 equal to call the method OIS dot read object. So when you call the method OIS dot read object, it's going to read the object what you have written under the file. Since read object method returns object, the written type of read object is object, but you are assigning to book, so go with typecast. Now print the object v1. OIS dot close, FIS dot close. That's it. Now see when we run, we get exception not serializable exception. So to remove this error, what we have to do? Just make your class implements serializable. Implements what? Serializable. So when you are implementing serializable, are you overriding any methods here? No. But we discuss it whenever we implement an interface, we have to override the methods of interface. But here we are not overriding any methods, so we are not getting any error also, because serializable interface is a marker interface. Serializable interface is a marker interface. What is marker interface? Marker interfaces does not contain any methods. It won't have any methods. That's the reason we need not override any methods here. Okay, we need not override any methods. Okay, so this is understood by JVM automatically. Now see when we run, we are getting the class name along with hash code, because whenever we print objects in SOP, so when we print objects in SOP, it's going to invoke which method? Invokes anyone can answer this? When we print objects in SOP, which method will get invoked implicitly? Yesterday also I discussed on this. Right, invokes toString method implicitly. Invokes toString method implicitly. Automatically it is going to invoke toString whenever we print objects in SOP. So go to the book class, override the toString method. And here is a return book number space book name space price. That's it. Now see when we run, we get the output here. The book number, book name, and price. That's it. So this only we call serialization. Just playing with objects only, use a different objects only, serialization. Any questions, anyone? No. One more last point here. So when you are writing object onto the file, it is writing your book number, book name, and price. But we don't want to write this price onto the file. We don't want to write this price value onto the data file. Then we have to use a keyword transient. that use what keyword transient before the data member, then this is not included during serialization. Now see, when we run, we get 111 learn Spring only. We are getting 0.04 price because when you invoke toString method implicitly, it's even printing price value, which takes default value 0.0. Right? Any questions, anyone? So it's a very, very simple topic. Practice one time, that's enough, because we work more of databases, not with the data files. We make use of databases more in our real-time projects. In reality, we use databases more. So tomorrow we'll be starting with the database concepts with MySQL, and after tomorrow we go with JDBC, the last part of Core Java. Right? Don't miss next 2 classes. Very, very important one. Right?